What's up?
So we might as well start recording since we're. Oh, actually, we're not technically on the clock, but we might as well because we will be on the clock.
What do you want?
Back on.
What do you
Let's get
want?
serious.
What do you want?
2021.
2021. Yep.
We're in the 20s.
What were we talking about? Fargo? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talk about Fargo
You're darn
and
tootin'.
yeah, I love the Coen brothers,
Yeah,
and
that's
I love the
I like
show.
them too. I like them too. That's my favorite movie of theirs, actually.
Now, what's interesting about the most current season of Fargo that just wrapped up,
Huh.
semi recently, a few weeks ago or whatever, is this is the first season where there are more black characters that play a prominent role.
Oh, cool.
And so you have all these gangsters. You got like the Irish family, you got the Italian family, you got the Jewish family, and then you got the black family. And,
Hmm.
they all have their piece of the pie, their piece of the town, or what have you. I don't remember if it's like Chicago or one of the big cities or what
Okay.
have you. But they do this weird thing where, in order to trust each other, they give away one of their sons to one of the other families that they're trying to do business with.
Oh
The
God, that's creepy.
the family kind of adopts their son, and they don't really treat the adopted son like one of their own.
Uh-huh.
Which you might imagine, though. At one point, I thought, maybe they really take this with some honor and treat them well, but you find them like, they've been eating something like crackers for dinner, or like, I don't know, just something shady, like
That's weird. Yeah, that sounds really. Hmm. That sounds really
something,
weird.
yeah, something shady. But Chris Rock, does his thing, and
Oh
in
yeah.
this role,
Oh cool.
and so I figure if you have a great enough director, they can find something. I mean, Chris Rock has to have something within within him already, but I guess a great director can
Hmm.
find that thing and work on it and pull it out. But then maybe Chris Rock has also been taking lessons and working on his craft
Hmm.
at the same time.
I
I don't know.
suppose. And I suppose that being one of the, I suppose it. I guess it wasn't enough for him to settle for being one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. I guess he had to expand.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
some people enjoy more, but yeah, you're
yeah.
right. I mean, he's definitely one of the best of all time. I remember when he wasn't so great. I remember when he was good, but early on, he was like more crass, and like his jokes just weren't at the level they are now. And then all of a sudden, something happened, and I don't
Hmm.
know if
Are
this
we talking?
was.
Was this like between Saturday Night Live and like his first HBO stand-up special, or was it, or or
uh,
was it?
what time period would we be talking about?
Well, I mean, 1996 was um, Bring the Pain, which was the first stand-up special I remember seeing him in, and I remember like thinking that it was so brilliant that I downloaded the MP3 of the whole thing
That
and
could have
listened
been that could
to
have
it going
been the
on.
beginning of that could have been the beginning of the next phase
Yeah,
of Chris. That could have been it. Because
yeah,
I just remember he went from like the dick kind of, you know, just from the raw raunchy stuff to the jokes that really
oh,
made you think,
okay.
you know? And he went from the raw raunchy stuff to flipping things on its head. Like he would say the opposite of what most people would say, and it would be controversial, but then he would explain it and make you think.
Hmm.
And then you'd be like, oh, okay, this is what he's talking about. Right? So he would do something like, I'm not afraid of like everyone says the media is so bad, the media is so bad. I'm not afraid of the media. When I go to my ATM in the middle of the night,
Right,
I'm not
right,
looking over my
yeah,
back, for the media.
for
So
Ted Koppel, yeah.
Yeah, so he'd be like saying things like interesting things like that to
And the
make you think.
audience loved it. They agreed with it.
Yeah,
And
there were other comedians like that too. Who is the guy? His name is one of those names that's often mispronounced. He's a black comedian, very outspoken, very
DL
political
Hewley.
now. Yes, D.L. Hewley. D.L. Hewley was not my favorite for a long time, and then he started getting like very political, and then I started liking
Mm.
him a lot.
I remember he had a sitcom, um, which I started watching only because the woman who played his wife was in Scream 2, and me being a horror film junkie would just like associate that. Like, so I was just like, oh my God, she's so I
Who is
started.
that?
Elise Neal, I think she played the wife.
Okay.
Pretty girl. And, you know,
And what was the show?
I think it was called The Hewleys.
Okay,
Yeah, I remember the
like family
sitcom.
sitcom. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I also remember actually that right after Fargo, the movie came out and was a big success, they actually tried to make a TV series out of it right away, and it aired a few episodes, and
Mm.
it didn't last long. But Edie Falco actually played the Frances McDormand character, and on the TV series, and there was like a few
Yeah,
episodes like
yeah,
solving crimes.
you were telling me about that. Now, are you sure this wasn't the same? Uh, this wasn't the same thing, just like the first season.
No, because the first season of Fargo only came out like a few years ago. Like this show that I'm talking about came out in like 1997.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah, so it was like right after the movie
and it wasn't
became
that good.
big. I don't really remember. I don't know if it was good or not. I don't think I ever saw it, but I guess it didn't take off because I mean, no, not very many people watched it.
Because
Um,
I could see Edie Falco in that role.
yeah, but totally because I mean, she has like the right hair color.
Hmm.
All they had to, all they had to do was like shape it, and then she had to do the accent, which I'm sure she did a fine job with. I can't imagine why she would. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, really, I wasn't even thinking of accent and hair color. I mean, I guess she does have the look, but she's also. I feel like she's got the chops. You know, she's a good
yeah,
she's a good actress, and
yeah, that was one of the few times that I actually started like uh, getting a little giddy with a celebrity sighting because I saw her when when I went to the theater with my mom, and I looked across the aisle and I saw her, and she was definitely trying to be incognito.
yeah,
But I recognized her, and I was like I was like freaking out. I was so
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
Um, I
I'll
was so
never
excited.
I'll never
Yeah.
forget when when Mike and I saw Harvey Keitel. And
Oh wow.
this was near the Nyberg office, and we saw him. We
Was
saw
this
him at
Sophie Keitel or James Gandolfini?
what's that? No, this was Keitel. This was
Okay.
Keitel. I mean, Gandolfini was was known to be in the area at that bar that folks
Okay.
used to go to sometimes,
All right.
but
All right. Well, that,
this
cool.
wasn't a bar. This was a store. I think it must have been either a special party night or something that was going on.
Clearly,
It could
Harvey Keitel was there.
yeah, it could have been like a summer kind of thing where it was a July 4th and we were going back, to have a special party night. But whatever it was, I feel like it was. I feel like it was one of those things, like maybe a weekend, like an early day canvas or something weird like that. But we go to, this store that's like kind of going towards the West Side Highway a little bit, the same side that Nyberg is on, just down the street, and it's just like it's like a big deli, kind of nice, uh, semi deli-ish grocery store kind of thing. And we turn a corner. We're probably getting beers and like, chips and drinks and whatnot. And I see this guy there, and he's with someone that looks young enough to be like his grandson,
Mhm.
but who knows? Maybe it was his son. And I kind of look at Mike, and I'm like, that's not who I think it is it? So I think because I kind of have this history of like thinking people are someone and it's not really them, you know. So instead of saying it this time, I let him tell me like, what are you talking about, or like, who do you think that
Mhm.
is? And but when I say that's not who I think it is it? He says, "Oh my God, yeah, it is." And I'm like, "Okay, that's Harvey Keitel, right?" And so I don't remember if we both say something to him. I think I say hi, and I think Mike says something like "big fan," and the guy, Harvey is just like kind of gracious
Mhm.
and says thank you, and we kind of leave him alone. He's with his, you know, he's with the kid or whatever.
Right.
But that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool. I would have just been like, I'm Winston Wolfe. I solve problems.
yeah,
No, I wouldn't have been. But yeah, it's just but that's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, it's always nice when someone is like, because as somebody, it's always nice when someone like that is receptive and kind
exactly.
because
Yeah,
yeah, because
exactly.
there's our country has such a celebrity obsession,
Right.
and I'm guilty of this, and I'm guilty of it as well of perpetuating it. But you know, they at the there's like the media in the media, it's like a divide created between them and the rest of us, and so these are like these wonderful like alien creatures, and and it's like no, they're really just human beings, just like the
Yeah.
rest of us. um you know it's can be a fine uh, balancing act for them, because the people who are their fans are the reason that they're popular and they are successful, but at the same time they're also people, and they have boundaries and don't necessarily know anyone who's coming up to them, so they may not be in the best mood to uh, you know have somebody come up to them and be like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
it's because you never know how people are going to react. You never know how people are going to react. So
Yeah, and it's
um
probably more awkward than we realize it
yeah,
is. Even if you think you're
but the guy
being,
said he was cool about it.
yeah, even if you think you're being gracious or something, it's probably awkward. And definitely when they're with their families, it's like I think these are people who don't get to spend enough time with their families as it is.
Right.
So when you go up to them and you're bothering them when they are with their family, I think they get really, really upset.
Yeah. I hear you. No, and interestingly enough, I was out to dinner another night with I'm always bumping into, like, I'm always seeing like cast members of The Sopranos whenever I'm like out on the town with my mom. I don't know why this happens, but I was, and I know you watch the show, right?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, definitely.
okay. But I was out to dinner one night at City Crab years and years ago, after the show was over. But we're sitting at a table, and all of a sudden, this guy gets up, and he's at a big table like across the way. So there's a bunch of people. It's probably like a big family dinner, get together, something like that. There's probably, I think, 20 people, and he gets up, and it's Michael Imperioli,
Oh wow.
and so I recognize him immediately, and I look up at him, and so I'm like trailing him as he goes, and then he catches me looking at him, and I can tell by the look in his face that he does not want me to come over there, right? So I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, right. So now I realize, like, it's him, like it's Michael,
Yeah.
it's not Christopher, this like lunatic, like junkie, like hitman who's gonna like come over and like threaten my life if I like just for looking at him. But
Yeah.
I still got a tiny bit of that charge.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. You still felt that energy.
I know, just yeah, just
So
yeah,
you left him alone then?
I didn't go over them.
Yeah.
There have definitely been times when like I felt like it was a person that I or it was if it was like a famous person who I really actually wanted to talk to, because I
Hmm.
felt like their work moved me to such an extent that I wanted to just to tell them that.
Hmm.
In that instance, had the situation been different, I probably would have said something.
Right.
But he communicated, silently communicated to me that it was not the time. So I was
Right.
like, okay.
Yeah.
So I left it alone. But it was kind of like I did kind of get a little bit of an adrenaline rush when he looked at me like that. I was like, oh wow. I was like,
So
it's
I,
Chris. Oh.
I had a situation like that with Tracy Morgan.
Oh
We
wow.
we used to go to this bar on Monday nights of all nights on Little West 12th Street um, called
Wow.
Cielo.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Sure.
place used to be jumping. DJ Francois used to
Yep.
do the house music there, and that place used to be jumping. I remember like going out dancing was my thing, but it was always like I still had to push myself to do it,
I love
and
dancing. Yeah.
I went there several times before I got the nerve to finally dance because these are like good dancers. There's this kind of you've been to have you been to Cielo?
I mean, not in ages,
Not in ages. So you
but
remember there's
yes.
kind of like the little pit in the middle where the
Yes.
stairs goes down, and that's where all the dancers are doing their thing. I used to just look at that thing and be like, one day. And I eventually did, have some pretty uh, wonderful nights there. Getting my dance on or whatever. But one of the first times I went there, I'm standing in line, and Tracy Morgan is like kind of walking the line. I guess just like walking towards the entrance or the other way. And he just has like the meanest, like, you could tell where
Mm,
he grew up look on his face. Like, he had the meanest, like, that other guy that you see is just a character. Don't test me. Don't think that I'm like a joke kind of look on his face
mm,
that I had just like
mm,
never associated with him. And I was like, damn, I'm not gonna say anything to him. And then like this skinny white dude like ends up like saying what's up to him and like like slapping him up like from the line, and it was just weird. But I have a feeling like that guy knew him. I had a feeling like it wasn't just a
mm.
rando saying what's up to him. But that was pretty funny. Seeing him
That
in
is
that
really
light.
funny. That is real. That is funny. That is, yeah.
I did have a situation where someone wasn't very receptive, and I kind of it was kind of like an awkward interaction.
Spill
Um,
it. Spill it. Spill that
well,
tea.
so Andy and I used to go to this comedy shop called what was it called? It was it was a famous place in Manhattan, and this place had the same name, but it was in Brooklyn and
Mm-hmm.
Williamsburg, and
Mm-hmm.
they did comedy there. It was like a famous like rock kind of shop on the other
Okay.
side, but on the one side we were at, they did comedy, and they had a lot of SNL writers and different people there. And
Really?
it was Sunday nights. It was free to get in, and they had like $3 or $4 Brooklyn, so it felt like a steal to be in there. I was like almost kind of like felt guilty for like not paying anything to get in there, seeing
Mm-hmm.
some like good comedians. But
Mm-hmm.
one time we didn't get there early enough. You got to get there a little bit before the show starts because it's
Mm-hmm.
free and it's in Brooklyn, and of course, people are standing in line. So we missed our shot to get in, and we went to like a popular like you know popular restaurant around the corner that had like a bunch of vegan burgers and other burgers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff too. That place was actually weird. It seems like people used to kind of get sick eating there. Now that I think about it, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why we ate there so many times. But Hannibal Burris was there that night, and so we missed him. And
Oh.
he happened to be, in this place, and I think he was like either standing in line or sitting down or something. And I just started chatting him up, saying, "Oh man, we wanted to see you tonight, but we missed you. Was it a good set or something like that?" And he was just kind of like very like kind of like he didn't want to be having this conversation. It was just kind of weird,
Yeah.
just kind of awkward.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, well, at least I hope, I'm watching him do some stand up one day, and you know, maybe the awkward interaction comes up, like he's skewering me, like, and I don't know why random people just come up to you and think they can start up a conversation with you or something.
Right, I know. It's like, do I know you? Why are you talking to me? Yeah, I need you. Like, yeah, you need to prove to me that you're not gonna like pull out a knife and stab me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's New York.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's true. Um, it is, yeah, it is true. Um, uh, yeah. I'm trying to think what other funny instances they have of that. Oh, okay, fine. Here's another Sopranos cast member story. Um, when I was living on the Lower East Side, I bumped into Adriana um, 3 times in less than 2 weeks,
Okay.
like in the same neighborhood, or around the same like corner, or within the same block. So on the third time, I finally just went, listen, if you want my autograph, just ask me for it. You don't have to keep following. And it was a real risk for me to do that. And lucky, I mean, I was so great. I was so happy that she thought it was funny and she laughed and she ended up buying me a cup of coffee. So you always take those risks, but it runs in my blood because it's exactly the sort of thing. And my mom has done stuff like that too.
That's cool.
Actually,
When she bought you a cup, like, did she just sit with you or just bought you a cup? Or?
yeah, she bought me she bought me a cup of coffee. And then like we talked for for however long it took to drink it. So like 5 minutes,
Oh, that's cool.
She's really nice. And yeah,
That's cool.
she was
This was
yeah,
like
she was
daytime or
what?
daytime?
Yeah, it was daytime. It was just again, it was so random. Like, and I know, and again, the only reason I felt confident enough to make that joke was because, like, again, I had bumped into it was over a period of less than 2 weeks, and it was the third time. And I know that she had
Oh,
seen
one sec.
each other all 3 times.
One sec. I got a thing.
Okay, was that your dinner?
Well, this isn't really dinner. I mean, it's cereal and snacks. Really, like, I just wanted some high fiber cereal, but they had a $35 minimum,
Oh,
so I had to like buy a bunch of snacks and stuff.
no, I need to place another order on Fresh Direct. So this is just a good reminder for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this is like
that's cool.
got an insane amount of fiber in it.
Oh, good.
One bowl has 65% of the fiber that you need. 18 grams of fiber. Most of it's insoluble. You know, this is like, it's funny, like they charge such insanely different prices depending on where you go. There were places that were charging like at least $1 or $2 less, and then there were places charging like definitely more. And then they kept showing me cereal, like places that didn't have fiber one had this cereal called, like, it had a weird name, like the best poop of your life or something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm like, I don't want to buy cereal with that name on it. I'm like, that's like, did they really think about the marketing on that? Because, you know, that's kind of weird. I don't know if people want to be thinking about that when they're like you know, about to dive into some food. Oh, it's called Poop Like a Champion.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Now the box looks nice. It's a nice sky blue color with like clouds, and it's non-GMO. But they want $12 per box.
Hmm.
I'm like, no, thank you.
That's a lot. That's a lot for cereal.
Yeah, that's also on Amazon. I think they're definitely upcharging, but I guess it must be an expensive cereal.
Ah. Hmm.
Uh, There was another comedian I ran into who was very nice on the Lower East Side. He's the one who does like music. He does like he does his music like in a loop. Like he's like a good musician. He's kind of a bigger guy. His hair is like really big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can't remember his name. I wanted to say like Wyatt something, but it's not. It's not Wyatt. Um, his name will come to me eventually. But he was
Oh.
cool. He was very cool. This bar was like I think it was like Mama's Bar. There were like a bunch of
Uh-huh.
comedians in there. They had just had their little had their show.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been there, Mama's Bar? Oh,
Mama's Bar?
Reggie Watts. That's who it was. Reggie
Oh, okay,
Watts.
that name I know. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Lower East Side.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Have you been?
I don't think so.
Mhm. It's a good bar.
I may have and just forgot. I don't know. Um,
I kind of feel like the first time I went there, I wonder if like everyone was like on X or something. 'Cause it seems like
really?
everyone was like extra friendly, like people I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was that time when the comedians have
Oh,
come over.
cool.
Yeah,
Very good, very cool.
definitely left a good impression.
Mm, excellent.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to this year?
Um, uh, 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 I am looking forward to um I'm looking forward to uh this being under wraps. That's what I'm looking forward to.
With the pandemic?
I'm looking forward to the pandemic being taken care of
Mm-hmm.
so that we can all
Start
jeez.
moving around again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And being yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. I think the first thing I want to do is like plan a trip with like some of my cousins, some of my family members,
Absolutely.
especially because I didn't get to see them.
Yeah, yes. God, I wish that's for you, and I wish, and I, yeah, and I want to. It's been forever. It's been forever since I've gone to see any of my friends in other states, and I miss them.
Mm-hmm.
My family. I keep having like, I have like cousins down in Georgia who keep asking me to come like move in with them. It's so
What
cute.
what part of Georgia?
Like a suburb of Atlanta. I think they live in Chattanooga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My folks are in a suburb of Atlanta.
Cool. Which one?
They're in a place called um what is it called?
Hmm.
Powder Springs.
What's it called?
Powder Springs.
Powder Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Let's look that up. I don't think I know. But yeah, that's awesome. So you have cousins down there too?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
relative?
I've got a couple of cousins down there.
Nice.
But my parents, moved there. What was it? Was it 2017 was our first Christmas down there, I think.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my whole family used to fly down there and have Thanksgiving at their house every year. And we did this for many, many years. And it was like one of my fondest childhood memories is going out to see them. And I still feel like a little kid every time I'm with them.
Yeah.
But mostly because they're both like, but also because they're like 6'4". So I always feel like a little kid. Like I'll hop on their backs and stuff. Yeah.
This includes your cousins, or?
These are my cousins. Yeah, they're my cousins. Yeah. And they're so lucky, and they like both went into the family business, and it's done really well for them, and they've bought like enormous houses, but now they both have like families of their own, and but like their mom still comes and like brings them lunch every day, like at work. It's like
Is
it's just really
is it called Chattanooga Valley?
probably. Probably. Just give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Yeah. It's probably Chattanooga Valley. Yeah. Yeah. But it's
What's the family business?
Oh, they make mattresses for babies.
Oh, okay.
Really, yeah, it's really sweet. And then since April of last year, they started manufacturing N95 masks as
Okay.
well. So they've been like, their company has been they've been given like many different like awards and certificates and things like that for like the quality of their work. It's great.
Is it a big company, or?
I don't know how big I would describe. I mean, it's weird. It's like it's got a warehouse. It's got a warehouse, and it has offices in it, and they have like a lot of workers. So I mean, I don't know if they have offices all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
They might. I'm not really sure the extent of it.
But is it like a full-fledged factory, like machines?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, full-fledged factory, machines, warehouse, everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's located. It's actually very close to one of the subway stops in Atlanta, which cracks me up. They were like, yeah, if you want to use the subway to get around, like, sure. And I'm like, okay. I didn't do it. It's like, but yeah, it's very, that's their main business is they make mattresses for infants, and then they do N95 masks. And it's a very lucrative business, and but it's also a business that's, produces something very positive for the world, and they've gotten a lot of commendations for it.
And as far as being manufacturers, are they manufacturing for big companies, or? Or are they just their own company?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know who places the most orders.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. It wouldn't, I'm sure if they they could do direct to customer, but it wouldn't be quite the same thing.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that they send it to they send it to big stores or like their biggest customers.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they do. It's funny. It's like I feel like that's like they do that. My father's like a meat salesman. It's just like I don't know this whole we're all in these like wholesale into like a lot of my family on my father's side are all in this like wholesale industry in different wholesale industries. Um and so it's this weird mixture of like because they run it, like they do really well, but it's very like, but it's around a lot of like working class. It's a lot. There's a lot of working class element and physical labor in it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like they do really well, but it's not the sort of thing where uh, when you get invited to black tie events, like people will be able to people have a lot to talk to you about. It's really weird because they're not, it's not like, oh, I'm not, like, oh, I'm not in finance. I'm not, I'm not a philanthropist, like, or like, I'm not a plastic surgeon. Like, I make mattresses for babies, or I sell meat to restaurants and catering companies out of Hunts Point Market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yet it's still this, but yet still running these companies we've been very fortunate. Like we've like gone to some like very like elite private schools and, um, but yeah, it's very interesting because I went to school with a lot of kids who were either parents of like like their parents were famous artists or like high-powered attorneys, and like I didn't go to, like, it wasn't like Dalton or Horace Mann, like the elite private school jet setting crowd. But I went to school with like a lot of kids with a lot of people who, yeah, were just very enmeshed and very successful in the arts fields. And it's weird. So I was privileged enough to go to those schools, but at the same time, I felt like an outsider when I was in there. So
Mm-hmm.
it was interesting just to, yeah, it was a very interesting experience. Like we grew up really comfortable, but my parents didn't want us to think that we were like super rich. And I guess we weren't. We weren't like millionaires,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they definitely, they wanted it, but they did not want us to think that we were like better than anyone else because of like the amount of money. Like, so they did, like they made concerted efforts not to like, like they bought us like whatever we wanted, but they did not.
They didn't
Yeah,
want you to be
they
out of
didn't
touch,
want.
not knowing how much a
Yeah,
gallon of milk costs
correct.
or something.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. Yeah, and it was very important to them to teach us like how to like balance our budgets and not like not hire people to like do these things for us. Like they wanted us to like know they wanted us to know how to like be self-sufficient and take care of ourselves. And that was
Speaking of which, is she like trying to groom you? Is that what she's doing?
yes, that is what she was trying to do, but she lost her balance and bit my ear.
Hmm.
Yeah, so she is grooming me. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm very lucky, and my cousins are very lucky that they got into this business. And it's great that and my dad's business closed down years ago, but their business is still up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So God bless.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I miss my cousin. I miss my cousins in Atlanta very much. I miss them. I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah,
Um,
for us, Atlanta's like the hub now. Like my parents, have got a nice place there with like, extra like more rooms than they need. You
oh,
know,
that's great.
so
Oh yeah, Atlanta. The house. Oh my God, the land down there is super cheap.
yeah,
It's
so they
it's so cheap.
basically, I mean, they're, it's two of them, mom and dad, but I think they have a 5 bedroom. So my brother and sister
Love it. Love it.
and my brother, sister, and myself will go down, and so we'll have three beds. My
Mm.
folks will have their bed, and they'll still be a
There's a
spare
guest
bed.
room. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a guest
yeah,
room.
and there's still a guest room. Yeah, yeah. So we all have our own rooms when we go back.
But you didn't
Which
grow up there. You grew up in Buffalo, right?
I grew up in Syracuse,
You grew up in
and then I lived in
Syracuse.
Buffalo for 9 years.
Right.
Yeah,
But then they decided to retire down there?
exactly. Yep, they retired, moved down there around
Yeah.
2017.
That is no, that's smart because you can get like a 7 bedroom house for like $300,000 down there. It's awesome.
Right, and so that's the hub. My brother, sister, cousins, they're all over the country, and we all kind of convene down in
Hmm.
Atlanta for Christmas every year. And so, yeah, this
That's so
Christmas was the first.
nice.
Yeah,
That's so nice. Yeah, I do. I miss holidays with, I miss like holidays with like people.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, we still zoomed this year. Obviously, it's
oh
not the
yeah,
same, but we were on top of making sure we all got to see each other.
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, not gonna get my hopes up, but I mean, definitely, hopefully, by if not the summer, by next Christmas, I'll be able to see them in person again.
Totally.
I mean, summer would be nicer. It would be nice to like go on an actual vacation, use up these use up the rest of my vacation days from last year, so I can start using my vacation days from this year.
Yeah.
Go somewhere I haven't gone, or go somewhere cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
miss traveling. There's so many, I mean, there's so many parts of the world that I haven't been to.
yeah. I
That,
haven't been to many parts of the world. I mean, the only parts of the world I've been to. Well, now I get to say I've been to Ghana. I mean, I was there when I was like one for like a
okay.
year, but too young to remember.
But
But
but did you go back when you were an adult?
last year, yeah, just before the
Right.
pandemic. Yep. And we
Right.
were
That's
saying
right.
how lucky we were, because by the time we were traveling back, we started hearing about it. And it's like,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with passports and stuff, they could have been pretty funny, like the consulate or whoever could have been pretty funny about letting us travel, you know. And
Yeah. Yeah.
luckily now, for the first time in my for the first time since like I was in my younger 20s, I now have a legitimate passport. So,
Cool.
now I can actually think about where I want to go and have some
Yeah.
fun traveling.
Very cool. Yeah. No, I do. I do. I miss traveling. I mean, there are a few places that I've been to, like, I've been to a lot of American cities. There are a few places internationally that I've been fortunate enough to go to.
Hmm.
Um, I would even like, I remember, and now I'm thinking about when I went hostel hopping in my 20s
Oh,
in Canada, and like I would even do that again. Like
hmm.
that's like just because I missed that so much. I went hostel hopping in Montreal and Quebec City, and that was
Okay.
and that was really fun. Um, in the summer.
Right.
Um, um, but I would definitely do that. Like, but I haven't been to, aside from England, I haven't been to any of Europe. And when I was in England, all my friends were trying to tell me that I wasn't really in Europe. And I was like, no, you're not taking this away from me. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm in
I
Europe.
definitely, yeah, I definitely would not let them do that.
Yeah, I was like, I get it. I get it. You're like
I
against,
get how you feel, but
and this was before Brexit, by the
right,
way.
right.
So obviously, I guess this must have been like brewing, but I was like, no, I don't care. I wish I had gone on the channel to go to Paris, but it
Mhm.
was so expensive that um, I couldn't afford to do it. But
There was a show I was watching recently that really made me want to go to London. I might have
London's
talked to you about
awesome.
it. Yeah, I might
London's
have talked to you
awesome.
about it.
Oh,
It's basically a show about an immigrant and how he's trying to get his legal status and the family that he's staying with, and it's kind of like a comedy, but there's some drama, and there's cool people, but then there's people who are like against immigrants and the kind of stuff that he goes through. But it was like it really just seeing the diversity in that show made me want to check out London.
Yeah,
So
London's a really diverse city.
yeah,
London's really, yeah, there's a lot, it's a very, yeah, there's a lot of, it's very, yeah, there's a lot go there. There's a rainbow over there for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it was really fun. I mean, I got to walk across Abbey Road. Not that that
Okay.
was the, I mean, not that that was the only thing I did there, but I mean, yeah, and I took, obviously I was going to take a picture of that. And I think that was like, it's just so cool. And
Yeah.
it was, I did a lot when I was in England. It was really fun. But I went
Was
to,
it like a vibe? Was it like a vibe, like going to pubs over there? Was that like a cool
oh
thing?
my God, yeah. We did, they wore me out because they wore me out, especially like, I mean, when I was there visiting my brother when he was doing a legal internship over the summer. And so most of the people that that I visited when I was there were like his like closest friends who like had moved to London, but because I knew them growing up, like, they were like, I got along with them too. They're my, I consider them my friends as well. And so I had just turned 30. So Matthew was 26. And so they were 25. So there was a lot of pub crawling. There
Mhm.
was a lot of pub crawling that week. I think I remember most of what happened. I'm not, it was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of pub crawling. My friend, Hannah was
You
like
have
a
to start.
bouncer.
You have to start early though, right? Because things shut down like around 11 or 1 or
Not
whatever.
on the weekends.
Oh, not on the weekends,
Not on the
really?
weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the yeah yeah during the week. Yeah, during the week thing closed early. Um,
So what are you
and
saying? On the weekends you can stay out
yeah
till like 4, or
yeah yeah
yeah?
yeah yes. Um, but there was yeah. There was definitely shenanigans going on. I remember
Did you
taking
go
a
to any
subway.
clubs? Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say because that
I,
makes sense. The staying up late makes sense since they're so
yeah,
into
I
like
mean,
clubs and techno.
I'm not, I, aside from Nyberg, I've never been the biggest drinker.
Yeah,
Obviously, when in Rome and all that. And
yeah,
so I was with Nyberg and I somehow managed to have fun drinking as much as I did at Nyberg. I think it was just generally an atmosphere of like having a good time. But I still definitely, yeah, we still definitely did a lot of pub crawling. Um, one of our friends was a bouncer and knew a lot of the other bouncers like who worked in various bars. So that was very helpful. Uh, that was very helpful doing that at the time. Um, the subway system was without a doubt the cleanest subway system I've ever been on.
hmm
But then again, any subway system is clean compared to ours. So
yeah,
that's
for
because, but
sure.
it's also because they shut down for 5 hours every
Oh,
day.
okay,
So it's like from 12:30 in the morning until like 5:30 in the morning, nothing
hmm
runs. So it's easy to clean when there's nobody on it.
right.
Um, Actually, Boston's like that too, but in the sense that it's cleaner than New York, but it's not as clean as London. London's subway system is like pristine. It's amazing.
Right.
Um,
Cleaner than Jersey's. Well, no, I mean Jersey is like their subway system surprisingly clean too.
or the path.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. The path train is. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's definitely cleaner than ours.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. No. England was really fun. England was really fun. It also. Yeah. London was awesome. I recommend going. I also obviously recommend going if you know someone there and you can get free lodging, but that's also
hmm
tougher.
Right.
But Airbnb, I guess. I think that's the new thing. That's well, it's not new anymore, but it's been that way for a while. It's
Right.
less expensive than a hotel, but it's more expensive than a hostel. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
so, but yeah, I if you've never been to England, I would suggest you go. London's amazing. London's a really fun city. But there are so many places I want to go to. I've never been to France.
Yeah, me
I've never
too.
been to any of the rest of Europe. I mean, it's beautiful. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Italy. Like all these beautiful
Yeah, I want to go to.
places.
You want to check out? I want to check out Cuba
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too. Well, we now we can. We were able to before because the embargo got lifted, but then this happened.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Cuba is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. I would
Yeah.
love to go there.
Yeah.
Um, and there's so many other places. Yeah, there are a lot of other places. Oh God, I want to go to Greece. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of places that I want to get to before I shuffle off this mortal coil.
Right.
But yeah, it's beautiful. But it's beautiful. Where's your bucket list?
Well, I mean, I've heard nice things about Brazil, but
Yes, I want to go to Brazil
truthfully,
too.
yeah, I've heard nice things about Brazil and like
The
dance
beaches,
dance parties in the rainforest. And
the beaches.
okay,
Honey.
um, yeah, for certain, my heart's been in going to Cuba for a while, and I hear different people say different things,
Oh wow.
because I have I I I have a sabbatical that I can take at work, and I can take like a 3 month sabbatical. But like that idea of being off of work that long, kind of like is almost scary because it's like, what would I do with myself for that long? So I'm trying to think of something I could do. Like ideally, if I could go somewhere and like kind of be like a volunteer, like do some meaningful volunteer work, but not like an intense like 9 to 5, but just like as much as I want, as
Yeah.
much or as little as I want. Maybe some days do 4 hours, maybe some days do a full thing. Have something to do like at least a few days or more a week that's like meaningful. But
Mhm.
yeah, Cuba, I like. Some people tell me, "Oh, you can't go to Cuba for that long." Like I don't know, like as if I'll run out of things to do or something. Which I don't know how much you can really,
Yeah, I don't.
really.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how much there is to do down there, right? Like anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't know how much someone can tell you like how you're gonna vibe with the place, right? Like, I don't know if you like fall in love with the place or the people, maybe that's a thing. But I don't know. Maybe there's not a lot. Maybe there's not a lot to do unless I have something specific going on. Yeah, I've wanted to go to France for a while.
Yes.
Um, I have a friend who loves Germany. Well, that's ish, and
Oh,
she
that's
loves
ish.
Germany.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would like to. I would like to go to Germany as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Amsterdam. I want to go to Holland.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to go to. Uh, well, where's the country? Where's the country? Oh, I want to go to Morocco. Seems very cool to me
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like Africa, but it's also like the Middle East, and I see like the blue. I see like the blue colors.
It's very cosmopolitan over there. It's very
Yeah,
like there's a real like it's
so
a
a
real
lot of
melting pot.
color.
There's so many cultures and
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but then there's still places in the United States I haven't been to. Like I keep hearing about New Orleans. I haven't been there yet.
That's actually what, yeah, I've never been to New Orleans either. And I really want to go. It's one of the only places I haven't, it's like one of the few cities that I haven't been in the US that I'm really feel like I'm missing out on.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
it's such a hot city. I actually did have the opportunity to go a couple of years ago for work, but it was for their annual convention, and it's always during the summer, and I was like, I'm not going to New Orleans in the summer. Like I know too much. Like I know to not do that. um
Why? Just
but
because the heat? You mean, or
the heat and the humidity, the combo
okay?
is deadly.
So when
So,
would you go, in the winter or the fall,
yeah,
or just any
something
time
like
not
that.
the
Or even like, I mean, even for Mardi Gras, before it gets too insane.
right?
Like just, but like, yeah, like running up to like the spring or like April, March or April or something like
Mhm.
that. Of course, it's probably cheaper to go down there during the summer.
Right,
So that might, and also it's an experience too. And screw it, I would still do the next chance I get, I would still do it.
right.
But I really want to go there. It's such a beautiful city.
Yeah, I've heard many great things. I've heard people
Yep.
say that I would
Yeah.
love it down there. That's how I actually heard about our sabbatical that they offer at work. Is I was speaking to our executive director, and I was we were at a retreat, so we're just like drinking, having a good time, and I just kind of in my direct kind of way, I was like, don't we have anything going on in like New Orleans or something? Can you send me down there, or do you have anything going on in other parts of the world? Are we allowed to work in other parts of the world? And he said, well, what we do have is a sabbatical. He was like, you should look into that and
Mm,
apply for a sabbatical, go wherever you want for like 3 to 6 months.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Orleans. Where else? Where else? Anywhere else in the U.S. that you would like to go to?
Oh, in the U.S.
Yeah.
Well, I've only been to Oakland like once. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I definitely want to go back. My heart was
Cool.
definitely with going to Oakland
Oh,
for a
your
long
heart's your
time.
got a piece of your heart.
Yeah, there's just something about the activism and the culture
Hmm.
there and the arts and everything that's kind of like things that I'm all down for. And I really respect how they showed up for Occupy down
Mm.
there and just like how they fight for what they believe in. And then it's a progressive city. When I went down there, I mean, they just like were very they were very catering to like vegans and stuff.
Hmm.
When I went down there, and there were lots of beautiful people, and there were some cool experiences that happened. And I just met like a lot of just warm, like very cool people.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to explore the city because it was like a 2 or 3 day conference, and we were just like
Yeah.
in conference all day long.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it. So I can imagine if I actually went there and got to actually go out and appreciate the city.
Yeah. No, it's really no, it's really nice. It's really nice. It's getting bougier though.
Yeah, yeah. So I've heard. Yeah, so I've
Yeah,
definitely heard.
all of my friends from all of my friends from high school who ended up moving out to San Francisco live in Oakland now because they got priced out.
Yeah, yep.
They
And
couldn't
people
even afford.
people are
Yeah,
getting priced out of Oakland now.
I know. Um, but it's still great though. It's still great. So yeah, I encourage you to go back.
Yeah.
Um, Oakland's still really cool. I haven't been there in a while, but I have been there before, and I remember really liking it. For many of the reasons that you said.
Yeah.
But San Francisco, no, San Francisco used to be everything for the arts and for political movement for
Mhm.
politics as well. And then Google and Facebook happened, and
Right.
then
Right.
and Amazon. But yeah, but for decades it was all about San Fran. But Oakland is very much on that same path, and it's amazing. So I love Oakland. I think it's a great city to go back to. I'm trying to think where I would like to go to in the U.S. New Orleans because I've never been. Um, I kind of want to go to Seattle and Portland just to see what it's about.
I got to check out both of those places. Uh,
What was it? What did you think?
yeah. So the whole PNW thing, I like. The Pacific Northwest has a
Yeah,
vibe to it, and it's
yeah.
different than being all the way in California. It's its own kind of vibe. I liked it. I
Oh,
liked it. It
cool.
was it was a good time. Um, and then Portland was its own thing as well. When I came
Yes.
into Seattle, like on the bus as I was coming into the city, I was already smelling like the strong smell of good weed, and I almost thought like the bus driver smelled like weed. Um,
It might it might have been. It might have
yeah,
been.
but yeah, it was cool. I was there by myself on a work thing, so I kind of like explored a little bit. Didn't really know where to go too much, but I explored a little bit in Seattle.
Sure.
Um,
Very cool.
and then Portland, I was with some coworkers, and yeah, they had a little
From
scene out there,
WFP?
and yeah, hmm we you know, I kind of always once I kind of find a place, I like just going back a bunch of times, kind of
Mm,
getting comfortable with it. There was a karaoke place
cool.
not too far from where we lived. That was a good time.
Awesome. Um, I was in Charleston once and I want to go back.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'd like to go back there. Charleston,
Charleston is amazing. The food in Charleston is
South Carolina.
unbelievable. Yeah, the food in
Yeah,
Charleston is incredible.
yeah.
Um, and there's like, I mean, for years now, there's been like a whole food renaissance going down there.
Okay.
And they've been like, yeah, it's always been barbecue central, but now they've been opening a lot of like vegan places
Yeah,
down there, like
yeah,
vegan
for sure.
barbecue. Like you should, yeah, you would love it. Like you would love that because
Yeah,
so there's a lot, they really like expanded that on that because they sensed where the wind was going. And that
yeah.
was like a new,
There's a cool bar slash music venue I went to that people
oh,
know.
excellent.
Um, if I remember the name and said it, you might know it. But yeah, there was Charleston was very cool. I had a good time in
Yeah,
Charleston.
Charleston was cool. I'm trying to think where else. Yeah.
And then Jackson, Mississippi is a cool place.
I've never been.
Yeah, Jackson is like the really progressive,
Yes.
you know, part of Mississippi.
Yes, no, I know. Yeah, every time I know, on the occasion when I have friends who like move down to places like that, I get a little nervous and then like I realize, oh wait, they're moving into the blue dot.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have like a college friend who ended up getting a tenured professor position at the University of Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
And so I was like, wait, you're moving to Alabama? He's like, no, it's Birmingham. I was like, he's like, yeah, no. It's like, there's a big Jewish community down there. Like, I'll be fine. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But like to somebody like I had no idea, but I, didn't know any better. So I'm glad that that's there. Yeah, I'm glad that that's there.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
Jackson definitely had some what would you say? Jackson definitely had some great vegan options, including
cool.
some places that were like so cheap you wouldn't see them anywhere else. Like these
Yeah.
places were still charging like $5 for a veggie burger and like
Oh,
a
nice. Oh,
big
that's awesome.
a big fat veggie burger. And
Oh,
when you get those kind
nice.
of prices, you get spoiled and you're like, yeah, this is how much it should have been costing in the first place. You know?
That's awesome. And also, speaking of food, I want to go to Austin, Texas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I, I've never
Austin's
been.
supposed to be that
There's nowhere
progressive
else in
spot.
Texas. I have no desire to go anywhere else in Texas, but
Yeah,
I want to go to Austin.
yeah. I've heard very good things about
Um,
Austin.
yeah, because it's like the one place where I can walk around and not be harassed.
Right,
Um,
right.
so yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, so there's a few places that I want to go. And I see people like occasionally see on people like flying on planes right now wearing their face masks. I'm like, okay, like good. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I wish I felt comfortable doing that because I'm definitely going a little stir crazy, not having gone on a plane in over 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I haven't tried. Yeah, it's been a while. So, or even just or getting on a train, just to like get out. I want to get out of state. And when I don't mean Jersey, I mean like I want to get out of the state. Like
Right.
I need a real vacation. It's been a long time since I've gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's healthy. It's healthy. It's healthy to go somewhere and not worry about that.
Sure.
But although what would I do with you? The bird store closed. I'd figure something out.
Is that a place where they watch your birds for you?
Well, yeah, it was called Bird Camp, and they specialized in only in food and toys, and they boarded parrots. Um, but the store eventually closed. Well, first of all, because boarding was like a lot of revenue for them, but it was so much work that eventually they decided to stop doing that. And then I think eventually they just like closed the store because it just wasn't. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I would have to figure out something else. But that's okay. I mean, I have family members nearby, so they would. I know my brother. Actually, no. My brother would actually no. My brother would stay with her.
Yeah.
It'd be fine. You know, but yeah, it's. I gotta get off now. But
Okay.
it was so good catching up with
Yeah, it
you.
was great catching up with you.
I can't wait for us to see each other in person again. I'm so glad that we came up with this idea in the first place to start hanging out like this. Like
Yeah,
this
no, this has
was
been great. This has been
really
great. This has been the
restorative.
silver lining of last year, you know,
I know we've seen each other more like in the last year than we did in the
in real
so
life. Yeah, seriously.
well, like because it takes more effort to travel.
Right,
Um,
right,
but
definitely.
this is not a substitute for actual being in the same room. So
Right.
dear. So
Yeah, so
anyway,
maybe, yeah, maybe if when things get back to normal again, maybe we can join team up for some travel plans or something.
yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Great seeing you, Flavy, as
yeah, yeah.
always.
Good to see you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you
Good
soon.
night, buddy.
Good night.
Jeez.